Okay, so guys, now let us do some exercises. Okay, um, this is your data and this is your exercise file, and I have added one more column, quantity, and this is revenue. Okay, so first what I do is I go in the manager and I refresh the data because I have changed the header name from paid to revenue. Now there are 5-6 questions here, and I like you to go and work on it. Try on this, and then later, if let's say if you're not able to do any question, then you can refer to this the solution. Okay, so let this finish. Okay. So now you understood the data. This is the same data. I have not done any changes in the data. I have only changed this header name revenue. It was showing paid, the total paid amount. So I use this revenue, and there is a one header I included now inserted, which is called quantity. Okay. So let's first of all go to the question number one. Create four DAX. You have to create four headers, different headers, giving each zone percentage on quantity over all zones. For example, east zone, so we want to check the east zone percentage, the contribution. So it should happen with the east zone total quantity done divided by the every zone total, right, in quantity field. So how many books you can say that have been sold for the entire uh, this entire data, including all the zones, and that is your denominator. And in the numerator you will go and create north, east and west and south. Okay, so this is your first question, right? Then you have a created DAX which gives zone revenue percentage on total zone revenue, but based on year selection. So here you have to go and give us the total percentage of every zone, percentage total zone by total revenue done by east zone, west zone, separately, divided by uh, the revenue coming from all the four zones, but based on the year selection. So if you select, let's say, 2011 or 12 or 13, your data should give you the total according to the year you select, which is going to be a denominator. And obviously east zone and the west zone, whatever it is, that should also give you the number based on the year. So year on year, it's not total. Total means it's not the sum of all the years, because in your data you have 2018 and then I guess you have 2019 and 20. Okay, so this thing you need to take care. Understood? The next question is, show category wise percentage revenue on zone 1 plus zone 2 total only. So this means that they are saying that in denominator you have to add zone 1 and zone 2 revenue, and in the numerator category should give you, whatever the category. So we have education category, comic category, so all these categories basically should be divided with the zone 1 and the zone 2 only. Remember that this is important point. It's not zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. Okay, so it means each category revenue should be divided with zone 1 and zone 2 total. So we want to see the contribution of each of the category on the total revenue which is done from the zone 1 and zone 2. Okay, question number 4 is, can you give the total revenue for all the quantities of books sold as on date? Total, can you give the total revenue of all the quantity of the books sold as on date? So total revenue you have got, but this revenue is basically for one book, right? But based on the quantity, this is going to be doubled or whatever. Like this is $15, this is 12 multiplied by 4. So if I have to check the overall revenue including the quantity, then how I can do that? This is what you have to calculate. Question number 5, can you give us the author's book quantity sold for Jan through April month, rest months to be ignored? So we want to see the author wise data, author wise how many copies has been sold or maybe has been taken on rent, but it should include only Jan, Feb, March and April data. If there is any other data like May, June, that we don't want to count in. Okay, so it's 4 month data. Question number 6, which is the last question. Can you give us the each author contribution revenue for Jan and Feb and then May and June on the overall revenue earned throughout the year? Okay, throughout the year, which means throughout the year. So I say throughout the year, uh, throughout the year. So here guys, we like to see the author, what their revenue is coming from Jan and Feb. So Jan and Feb is together. You will create a DAX which will have, Jan plus Feb, and there is another DAX you will create which will have May and June. Okay, and then that is going to be divided with the total revenue earned from all the years. So you have 3 years, remember that. Okay, so this Jan and Feb, which we are talking, obviously this will also include all the year. So where it is not mentioned that it has to come from specific year, we will go and club all the years. You're getting the point. So here Jan Feb from 2018, from 2000, then 19 and 20 automatically. So we're not going to put any filter on the year. Okay, so these are the questions. Now let us first of all create first question. So the first question is create four different headers. You have to create four different headers and you have to give us the total. Okay, so how we can do it? Well, first I create for the east and then west and the north and then for the south. Okay, so for that, because basically you need to create a percentage, you need to divide the total sale of each of the zone with the total, right? Now the thing is that first of all, if I create a pivot, let's say we create a pivot with the zone. Okay, so once again, pivot table. So I create, click OK. Now you see I have here the zone. I can put the zone here, not a problem. And now we can create a DAX which can give us the total. Okay, you can also go and use the old traditional method that you can put the revenue here and that will also give you the revenue based on the zone, right? But we'll not use this. We'll create a separate DAX for this. I'll tell you about all these things later, that why we always prefer the DAX. I mean, because this is also okay, but we will go and create a DAX for this. So let's go in the measure and I give it a name that the total revenue. Total revenue. Okay, so we simply go and write sum and revenue, right? Currency, and this should be in 0 decimal places. Now we have got this revenue. Okay, now the question says that you need to create a 4 DAX, different DAX. Okay, so to create the 4 DAX, first of all let us do this way. I can use the all DAX here and I can get the total, and then I can divide this east with the the percentage, right? You know that if I use all in the calculate, we will have 1105 and we can divide this with that 1105 and each of the zone will give us the percentage, right? But the question is different. The question says that you need to create 4 different DAX. So if I have to create 4 different DAX, then how I can do it? I know this because this is a sound little awkward, because If I have a sale over here, but then why I'm, why I want to create the separate the headers for this, isn't it? But let's say we want to do it because this is a question now. Okay, so how I can do it? Well, I can use the calculator and I can say zone equals to east and give me the total of the east. So what happens here, the east will come. You getting the point? I'll show you. For example, this. Let's click on the new measure. Okay, you see, this is just a practice. So don't think that the solution can be shortened, or no, this is not making any sense. No, we are just going to do the practice. Okay, so let's say I say east revenue. East revenue. Now how you can get the east revenue? How I can get the east revenue? Well, I can say the calculate and then the total revenue, this the one we have just created, and then here I can use the filter, and in the filter I provide the table which is my cost purchase and the zone which should be equals to east, isn't it guys? So we can have a sale or not, right? So check the formula, there is no error, and I click on the currency. This is to be 0, right? So my point is that you see that you start getting here the east revenue, and there is an extra header here. You're getting the point? So I've started getting here the east revenue, and obviously because the filter is only working for east, so the north and the south and the west, they won't come. Okay, so we will go and create the another. Let's go in the manage, right? And let's create the copy. This is how we need to practice. Okay, so I copy this quickly and I say new, and I go here and I say now this is, let's say, west, and let me see that what was the name, east revenue. So east revenue, this should be west revenue, west revenue. I copy this and this is going to be west. So you can create all these. Okay, check the formula, no error, currency. So we say like this. So you'll have another header. Okay, remember that these headers are always going to help you. I mean, in any case, if you need them separately. One more, let's quickly create. So let's create for the north also, north revenue. So I say this is my north. Okay, check the formula, no error, currency, this one. Now the moment you create, you start creating DAXs, your speed will incredibly increase, your confidence will also increase. Trust me on that part, right? Don't think that I'm doing the same task again and again. Why? No, your mind will keep on recording these things in its memory, right? And you find that you are going very fast gradually. Okay, so now we say this is my west. So the last one is the west zone. Okay, west zone. So currency, check the formula, there's no error, so I click OK. So now we will have the 4 different headers, guys. What do you say about that? Right, so we just need to go and check and check, right? So this is how it is. You see that we have created it, and maybe I don't need the total revenue, I just get rid of it. This is how it is: east revenue, west revenue, north revenue. Make sense? Okay, now you never know that any point in time maybe you want to now, like for example, this doesn't make any sense. I know that we could have simply done this way also. Let me just copy this, paste it here, and instead of these all east revenue and the west revenue, we can we have already the filter context working for us. So I just go and track this. I just go and track this, the total revenue, and we have all the percentage, right? And to calculate the percentage, I will go and say new measure, and I just go and say that remove all the filter context, isn't it? Right? So I say that the total final revenue, for example, overall revenue, overall revenue. Then what you do, guys, you see calculate. In the expression you write total rate, total revenue, and then you write all, right? So I want to ignore the all the filter context. Check the formula. So formula is there, it's working. So currency, and I just say that this is 0 basically. Click OK. There we go. Now you got this, right? And the next thing I want to do is, because I want to calculate the percentage, so I say new measure, and here we say that new measure, and we say that uh, now this is contribution, right? So I say zoom contribution, or I simply say zone percentage. So how do you do that? You write divide, and then the numerator obviously is your that the total paid. What was it? Revenue. Now you see all these taxes are coming. So any point in time, if I have to divide the east revenue with maybe east plus north, that is also you can do it. This is fantastic. I'll just show you what I mean. You will understand the power of the tax, the measures. They are not those simple pivot formulas which you simply go and drag and say the sum average. Tax is more than that. Anyways, so first of all, I divide uh, the revenue, which is my total revenue, and denominator is my overall, right? So this is how it is. Check the formula, no errors, and I like to click OK, and you see that I have got the percentage. So this is the first question. Okay, and I say percentage. So finally we have the percentage. So zone wise we can clearly see now how the things are coming. And yes, you don't need to have the overall revenue and the total revenue, but I'm keeping it for you. Okay, I'm keeping it for you. So we have got our first question the answered. Okay, now uh, if you have to go and uh, you know like you have calculated this each revenue, so you can also divide each revenue with the this overall revenue, and you will get the percentage here. That's also perfectly fine. I mean, we can do that also, so that you can create, it's not a problem. But I'm saying that, guys, if I have created these tags, so don't think they are waste. For this type of a visualization, they look like a waste, garbage, right? But understand, what if I tell you that, you need to go, let's say that, can you tell me the east zone, can you tell me the east zone performance, which means the east zone, the quantity percentage on west and north taken together. So that means east zone quantity, number of books divided by west and north, right? West and north, north quantity, right? So there can be different ways of doing it. I mean, you can create a separate formula for this where you can just go and add west and north only. So that is also possible. But like we have created this, so we can even create a pivot for this, and I can say that uh, just go here and create a DAX here. For example, let's go and uh, first of all, let's create a DAX in the Power Pivot. So I simply say divide, and here this is, let's say I want to east zone performance over west and north, right? Let's say we want to do this. Okay, so what you do, you have already calculated everything. So in the numerator you will write your east, and then in the denominator you will add the west revenue plus North revenue, like this, right? We can check the formula. Let me put one more bracket, check the formula now. Yeah, perfect. So this has to be in general only, and I click OK. I put the number over here, so you see that I'm getting here 23, so I can just change the percentage from here also, 23%, right? We can cross check now. So east is 172, and what is your west and north? So west is this and north is this, so let me add these. So this is 745, so 745, so 172 divided by 745, what is it? Let me say equals to, yeah, 23%. Perfect, fantastic. Now you're understanding the concept. Now these type of things you can't use in the old, that pivot, you know. When I asked you that your question, a question can come in your mind that, you know, why we don't drag this revenue, this which is a field, no, the pivot field, you know. In old pivots over so many years, we always have been using these fields. Now this can't give you these sort of results, because this is going to give you the entire revenue. You can't say that, you know, give me the north plus east, north plus west, and so on. And in the coming sessions, when you will learn more DAX functions, you will have more knowledge about the DAX, you know, so you can imagine you will have more flexibility, you will have more power. So you can rotate the data at any angle, right? It's you will have a 360-degree view of your data, which is fantastic, right? So that's why we say that DAX measures are the backbone of Power Pivot. Okay, so let's go to the question number 2. Question number 2 is that create a DAX which gives us the revenue percentage on the total zone revenue, but based on the year selection. So year selection. So first of all, we create a pivot. So this says I want zone wise revenue. So revenue would come here, but I'll use the DAX with the zone. So zone goes here, and first you create a picture like this, then you start thinking, you know, what you have to do. So this is your total revenue, right? Now year on year, for that I can create a slicer, isn't it? So we create a, sorry, you must select the pivot and then go in the insert and the slicer. So now I will have a year. Okay, now you need a DAX which, if I select year, then it should give me the 96 divided by 508, 109 divided by 508, and so on. And for 2019, denominator now changes to 133 and numerator will be of these sales. So how we can do that? You remember that there was a DAX we, yes, right, perfect, somebody remembered it, I'm very happy, good job on it. All selected, guys. Okay, remember all selected. So whatever you select in the slicer, that will be taken as a filter context, and you know, you will see a DAX with that total all selected. So I say all selected, uh, yeah, that's it, all selected. All selected revenue, maybe you can write, and so we write calculate and then the revenue, total revenue, in the comma and the filter. So in the filter you write all selected, and then you, what are you going to write here? Table name or the column name. Well, in this exercise, I mean, I can write table name also, I can write column name also. So I prefer the, I mean, cost purchase is okay. Okay, just a table name. Okay, so check the formula, no error, and I give the currency, and this is 0. Click OK. Now you should see here 1333. That's what we needed it, right? And then 2020. For 2020, 464, which is what we needed it. So we will quickly now go and create a new measure, right, guys? And now we will say that this is my uh, Zoom revenue year wise. year total wise. Okay, so we quickly go and divide, and we divide the total revenue with all selected, right? All selected revenue, this tax. Make sense? Check the formula, no error. I click OK, and this is the one which now is showing us. And let's go in the show field list. I'm just going to click on I can remove all these, but I'm not removing for you. Okay, remember that you should be showing these things too in your report, because your audience doesn't need that. They just need the percentage. In case if they I mean, they're not interested in the all the things, you can ignore that, right? So we have got the answer. Perfect. Right, so that's how we can go and create this. Okay, and you can also create the chart for this. I mean, you can remove these revenue and selected, and percentage wise you can create a chart also. So now you see the numbers are changing. Fantastic, this is what we needed it. Okay, so let's go to the question number 3 now. Question number 3 is that show the category wise percentage. Show category wise percentage revenue on zone 1 plus zone 2 total only. Okay, zone 1 and zone 2 only. So zone 1 and zone 2, I beg your pardon, I shouldn't have written actually the zone 1 and zone 2, because which zone they are talking. So it's, let's say it's actually north and east. Sorry about that. It's north and east. Now you know that we have already created this in the first question, right? But I'll not use that. I'll create one more. Okay, so this is your north and east. So we can create a DAX which can give us the total revenue based on the north and the east. First, let's quickly go and create that measure. So this is my revenue from north and east zone. Okay. Okay. Now what are you going to do? Calculate expression sum, right? Or you can use the total also. Total revenue. Sorry. And now in the filter. So in the filter, what we want to do? In the filter, I want to say that the zone should be equals to north, right? Or zone should be equals to east. So this data should be supplied. Okay, and finally then it should sum, right? So this says that expression is not valid or appears to be incomplete. Please check for that. Okay, let me see that. Yeah, I think I created one extra closing parenthesis. Let me check the formula again. Yeah, perfect. So this is done now. I click OK. So finally we have now DAX created. Let's go to the pivot. So I have to drag here the category. Category wise I can have the revenue first. So for that I will go and drag this total revenue. So filter context works here, and now we will go and use the revenue for the north and the east. Okay, so I can just show you that what it is going to give you. So the value which is blank, that only means that category must not be available in the north and the east, which is okay. Okay, so now this needs to be divided with this. That's it. Okay, so but we can cross check. I mean, we can see that how it is going to work. Now one thing I noticed here, that when you actually checking the data for the north and east, the data is also changing, guys, which is actually the filter context is applying here. So let us understand, because you see, if I have the north and the east, say, it should be a fixed number for every category, right? So we have to basically ignore the category filter. But why this is coming, let's go and check. So if you go in the comic category, uh, first I select north and the east. Okay, So here we have, and the category is this one. So if I go in, let's say, the comic category. Now in the comic category, my total revenue is 170. Make sense? Filter context is working. And then in the education, if I go, then in the education, it is 201, 201. Make sense? And history will not be there. And same for the others. Now it's up to you what you actually want to do. If you want to say that zone 1 and zone 2, it shouldn't be coming from the category. It should be coming from the category. Then guys, we can use the all. You can write the all, and in that case no filter context will work, and every time then what you get is you'll get this select all, because then it will always look for the revenue from the north and the east, right? This one, which means that you will get actually total as 462, 462, which is actually the motive of this, because here it says it should be divided with the total of the north and the east. Okay, so I don't want that thing. I don't want, I mean, the category filter context, I don't want to work here. So we can go from here also. You can right click and you can edit the measure instead of going from the main window, the ribbon. So here now, when you have written these two criteria, cost purchase equals to north and cost purchase equals to east, this is where we have to now tell that there is no actually the filter context. Filter context has to be ignored. So for this now, what I do is I change my approach. I say that let's go and supply the north and the east table. So we can use the sum x, and now in the table I go and write filter and cost purchase and comma filter expression, which is as you know that the zone equals to north or zone equals to east, right? This is what we need. Close this, and in the expression we want to count the revenue, this one, right? I close this, check the DAX. This formula has no error, right? Now the thing is, this function which I'm applying, we have to make sure that it should give us the total of north and east, and at the same time it should not consider any filter context. So now what I do is we will go in this inside the filter table. You remember that this is a table, so we say that table should be there, but it should be coming with the all. Okay, so I put the all before the table. So now what happens, what should happen ideally, I don't know, let us check, because I haven't practiced on this before. I just created these and I thought I'll discuss this live with you, because this discussing live is something, if I even I'm not prepared, then and we get stuck somewhere, you can see that how we are going to find out the solution, how we are going to overcome from the situation. So I say all. So all means that now on this cost purchase table you will have no filter context. This is the plan. Rest you already know. We are simply collating the north and the east data. Check the tax. So again it says nothing, and now it should give me the total 462. What was the north and the east data, this revenue? Yeah, fantastic. You see it's coming 462. This is 462. So guys, we have been able to do this now. Now the next part is you just need to divide the numbers, which you can do, right? So this is how we can go and sort out these type of issues. So now let's quickly go and can I create the new measure from here also? No. Okay, I thought maybe you have the option there. They keep on upgrading the tool, you know. Okay, so now we say that the category percentage on north and east zones. Okay, so we write divide. So numerator is the revenue, which is total revenue, and this is your revenue, which is northeast zone, the total. Right? Check the formula. Click OK. So congratulations, guys. This was something special. So this is how we will grow in this industry. So I just got to make this OK. Click OK. Yeah, so this is how it is, right? So this category is holding 46 and education category is holding 74 and horror category actually is holding the maximum. You know, you can sort the numbers also. I mean, in case if you want, you can just say that, you know, I want to sort the data. I'll not do that, but you can. Okay, so let's go to the question number 4 now. Now before I go further, I was just checking um, that can this not be done using the calculate, because in the calculate also we can write, you know, we can say calculate and then sum of the total revenue, you know, whatever. And then in the filter expression, instead of writing the zone equals to east or, you know, west, we go and write the filter table there. And in the filter we say that, you know, we don't want any filter context on this table. So table is going to be cost purchase. You know, I think we can do the calculate also. You remember, first I was using the calculate only, but then I shifted to the sum x. So here I can put the filter criteria, you know, in the criteria I can write zone equals to east, and then, or I'm just thinking, I don't know why I deleted that. This way, you know, I think we can do this. Okay, let's give it a try one more time. The same thing if I have to do using the calculate, guys. So I simply go and write category percentage north east zones. Okay, I give this number 2. Okay, or you can write in the description, I can write using calculate, using the calculate DAX now. So why can't we do that? Calculate total paid, total revenue, comma. Now I'm saying that don't write zone equals to, you know, this, because we want filter context to be avoided, and for that we have to go and supply the filter here, so that table, in the table we can say all, remove all the filter context from the cost purchase, close this, and now filter expression of filter DAX will come, and this is, I think this can be achieved. So we write or zone equals to double quotes east, right or wrong? Tell me. Check the formula. Yeah, currency. So it should give me the 462, isn't it? Okay, I'm not sure. Let's go and check that. Okay, let's see that. Let's go show field list. I'm loving this exercise, isn't it? Anil, Shubham, Gayatri, and rest of you as well. How is it? Fantastic! Wow, this is super cool. So you have another thing. So these are using calculate. Wow, using calculate. Okay, and this is using sumx, right? So what we did in the calculate, you know, the parameter, when you write the calculate, here you go and write the calculation, sum or count or average. So here we write sum, and then the next parameter basically it says the filter expression, you know, the filter expression. What do you want to filter basically? You know, filter data. So that filter data, basically we said that in the filter data we can't just go and say, you know, zone equals to east or zone equals to north. We can't say that. Why? This is wrong, because this will include the filter context, because we need to get a number which should not consider the pivot coordinates of filter heads, you know, because this gives you east and north, but the moment you drag here, this comic education, this comes into action, and this, you know, the number changes. That's why the plan was that, you know, we have to use then all. To use the all, we said that okay, so we will do the same process, but in the filter, because we have table name here, you know, so table name should be combined with the all, right, and the rest remains the same. So here you said that okay, I'm gonna write all, so table name counts. This you will learn gradually. Okay, this is how. Remember, in Excel also we had spent years to become proficient, right? So these things will come into your mind also gradually. So we have the table name, and then the another one which is north, right? Same process. Zone equals to north, or zone equals to, I'm just giving you these little bit of notes. Okay, and finally when you drag, this is what you're going to get. Perfect. Okay, now we'll talk about the question number 4 and 5 and 6 in the next class. Okay, any questions? You can go back and, you know, start practicing on this. We'll use the same file for the next rest of the questions also. Fine guys, then I'll see you then if there is no question. Thank you.